You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, King Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Mob Wives Chicago After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Mob Wives Chicago After Show.
Welcome, everybody. Bing is for doing, and we are here doing the series premiere of Mob Wives Chicago, Season 1, Episode 1, Fight Night. I'm your host, Anna Koppel, and here with me...
Grant Rutter. Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Welcome. So this is very exciting. This is...
Yes. Fresh out the gate.
Fresh out the gate. Thrilling. These are some of the most exciting characters. I'm like a reality TV show junkie, and these women are so exciting.
I love the way they set it up. It was paced very well. They didn't throw them all at you. Bits and pieces. They started to kind of intertwine the two. Then they had a third. It was very well done.
Yeah, it was very well pieced together. The only thing that I will say that, well, a lot of things sets these women apart, but the thing that makes the show like extra real for me is how unfortunate some of these women look. I'm used to like reality show wives being just like gorgeous, even if they are fakely gorgeous. So there are some fake breasts, but not a lot of Botox going on. So
no, yeah. and not a lot of good teeth either. Sorry, ladies. Sorry.
There are some gap tooth. Please don't put a hit on us.
Yeah.
But we do have plastic surgeons in LA. If you're interested, we can give you some references. So,
yes.
So anyway, I think want to discuss the characters right away and their relationships and their ties to their fathers, and we'll take a quick break and then get into some news and gossip.
Yeah.
And that'll be that for the evening. So first on the list we have Renee. I'm gonna murder this name. Fecarotta Russo. Fecarotta,
Yeah,
is that right?
Fecaruto, maybe, right?
Fecarotta.
See, I didn't write it down. I didn't write down the last name because I said, you know what, forget it. I was kind of overwhelmed at the beginning because there was a whole new group of women, so I just wrote down the first names and the dads and how they're connected to the mob. But she is very interesting.
She is. So Renee actually was raised by her uncle, Big John. And Big John was allegedly, I love how they throw around the word, you actually pointed this out. Allegedly.
They all cover their ass the whole time. If you didn't think it was alleged, like you wouldn't think they did anything. It was just women coming together. If they didn't say it, if it was allegedly, they would be nothing.
They even say allegedly about their own lives, you know, so
That's true.
I love that. So I think I'm gonna start enforcing that in my own life. Yeah. Well, I mean, allegedly we dated. Allegedly. Anyway, so Big John allegedly was an enforcer for the mob. And it's also interesting, these women all had taglines about what Chicago is. And Renee feels that the mob is Chicago. That's what Chicago is to Renee. So Big John was shot in the back by his best friend.
Set up
By his best friend.
That happens with the Italians in the mob. It's similar to Mob Wives with another housewife, but another wife over there. There's setups all over.
Yeah.
You can't really trust anyone.
Yeah, not in the mob, right? But that's kind of what you sign up for, don't you think?
You'd think with Italians, loyalty is such a huge thing, and it is with me, and I'm partially Italian myself, and I can relate to loyalty so much. It's so big, but yet people will turn on each other at any cost.
Right. Well, I feel like if one joins the mob, that there's, a risk of getting shot in the back by your best friend. It's kind of,
Yeah.
It's just part of the deal.
Exactly.
It's going to happen. Okay, so then we have Nora.
I believe she thought Chicago was in the pavement. I think that was her line, right?
She may have said that.
Yeah, she was just all about it.
But she does say that Chicago is the most corrupt town.
Yes, she did say that, which I never really thought about it. I mean, I grew up in a very corrupt state. I mean, I saw things, I guess, but I never thought Chicago would be caught in that. But I guess, yeah.
I totally. My dad grew up in Chicago, and he tells stories. And allegedly, I don't know if this is true or not, but he tells a story about going back to Chicago years after he left and being pulled over by an officer and for speeding or whatever, and handing him his driver's license with a $20 bill. Because back in the day, it used to be you would hand an officer your driver's license and a $10 bill, and you would sort of just be let go. But he hadn't been there for years, so now allegedly, the officer takes his license and the $20 bill and goes back to his car. My dad's like, great. Like, not only, now I'm like bribing an officer and like this is turning into a much bigger deal. And allegedly, the officer came back with $10 change. So, so it's a very corrupt city, lots of dirty cops. And yeah, so I've heard all kinds of stories from my father.
So Nora, her dad, Frank, is, it says pronounced dead. They didn't say deceased.
Allegedly dead.
Yes, it was pronounced dead. So that's about, like, this legally he is gone. I don't know if maybe he's somewhere out there, but it's curious.
He allegedly passed away in prison, and the FBI confiscated his body. He was allegedly.
We're going to have a drinking game.
I was just going to say that.
Allegedly.
Oh, you and me, right here. I'm like, for those of you playing a drinking game at home.
We're 6 minutes in, folks.
We said it 97 times. I'm not sure. Somebody get a counter going.
Yes.
Anyway, her father was allegedly a hitman for the outfit. And he was Frank the German. How do you pronounce that name?
I don't have it.
Schweihs? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, something German sounding.
Yeah, something German for sure. Yeah.
Nora, to me, seems like she's always on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Like
I have written here a ticking time bomb. Like any day, maybe not day one, but any day she's gonna, like, those eyes are gonna bug out a little bit more, and she's gonna go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she just always seems like she has tears just sort of developing in her eyes, and like, what's the matter? What's wrong? Are you okay? Yeah. I mean, I feel anxious watching her on TV, let alone I don't know that I could be in her presence.
I think she's one of those, and this is just a first impression. I think she's one of those that thrives off of good drama, but she should not be having it in her life. It's not good for her, but yet she's one that goes and looks for it. And I can kind of relate a little bit, but
yeah,
I'm not. It's
guilty.
Not dangerous. Like I feel like she needs to, like, kind of like take it down a notch just a little bit. But I could do drinks with her. I like her, this Nora.
I like this. What I do like it about Nora, I feel that she, she set up this meeting with the women, which turned out to be a little bit of a disaster. But I feel like she does want to bring the women together. Like, she's a little bit of a peacemaker. She's like, oh, do it for me. Like, let's all get together. Like, maybe you'll like each other. And so I appreciate that about her. So then we have Pia Rizza, which her name is actually, somebody said anagram. I don't think that's the right word, but it's a jumble of pizzeria. So
you said it, not me.
No, but it is. How awesome is that? But like, it's kind of like your dad hates you.
I'm sorry. That name, for all the Pias listening, I'm sorry, but it just doesn't do it for me either. I'm not a fan of that name. Poor kid.
But I mean, there's nothing better than Chicago pizza. I'm sorry. So I think that's, whatever. Anyway, I wonder actually, is that her stage name?
Oh.
Possibility.
Yes.
Possibility. So, Pia's a stripper, and doesn't seem to have any shame about it. She's actually proud of it.
They're shocked. These women are shocked. They're calling her whore. They're calling her every name under the book. I really don't see the big deal with it. I think it makes a great story point. I'm sure she does great with money, and now with the show, she can do club appearances and make bank.
Sure.
Now, my question for you is, this was kind of alleged throughout the episode that she did more than just strip, that she really was a woman of the night, and that she has this like illicit past, and that she's always going out with different guys. Do you think she's just a dancer or a little bit of both?
She's probably a little bit of both. She did say, oh, there are nights when you can make thousands of dollars a night. I don't know that you can make that on stage
Yeah,
in Chicago.
She mentioned that a lot of guys just want to talk.
Yeah.
I don't know. How much could a conversation go for in Chicago?
I don't know. Look into it. But, you know, I don't know that I have too much judgment around it. I don't know that, I mean, really, if we all soul searched, like, are any of us really above it? You know, if you're going to make like $5,000 in a night, it's pretty easy work, you know?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But she keeps throwing her daughter out there saying, I'm doing it to support my daughter. I'm doing it to support her. And I don't know. I think that she's using it a little bit as a crutch to kind of hide behind. She must enjoy it. I mean, I can't judge the woman. It's good for her.
Right. She clearly has daddy issues.
Yes. What do I have on her about that?
Well, her dad's the rat.
Oh, yes. Wasn't she very loyal to him as well? Yeah.
No.
No, not anymore. No, she's totally like off him. All the other, like one of these women is living with her father, and this one can't get far away.
Right.
Enough.
She goes, this
true.
is my favorite thing that she said. She goes, everyone I know goes to jail. Going to jail is not a big deal. You go, you serve your time. That's awesome. So she's hanging out with a cool crowd.
Yeah.
But he is an effing embarrassment to her. So there you go.
Yeah, no, I'm curious to see what she does next. She seems like there's some different layers to her. She's not just an angry woman. Like, I'm curious to see more. I feel like she already, within the first 10 minutes, was in the center of a lot of controversy. Like, she was already the center of conversation. So I'm sure that will carry on through. So time will tell.
Time will tell. Okay, so then we have Christina Scoleri. Her father was Raymond Janek, who was allegedly a burglar for the mob.
And arrested 20 times, allegedly.
Allegedly. But then he went straight in 1987. Now, she has an interesting current story. She's been divorced for a year, but she's still living in the same house as her husband. Her child doesn't know that they're divorced.
Now that's strange. And
Right.
of course, his name is Joe, much like a lot of the housewives, not housewives, why do I keep calling them housewives? A lot of the men in Mob Wives, the original in Staten Island, that Joe is a very common Italian name. Grandfather's name's Joe. Uncle's name is Joe.
It is a common housewife's name, house husband's name as well. So, Italian,
Yep.
yeah. Do you have a lot of Joes in your family as well?
Well, yeah, my uncle and my grandfather on my mom's side, which is Italian, are named Joe.
There you go. My grandmother married an Italian, and his name was Joe, and had a son named Joe. So I don't know what it is. So
And Real Housewives of New Jersey, there's two Joes on there. So
yeah, it's great. Oh, you Italian men, it's silly, so silly. And then. So the last wife that we have to discuss here is Leah DeSimone, daughter of William Wolfpack DeSimone.
Well, they left me wanting more from her. They did a good job. They gave us a little bit. She was the last to be introduced. She really kind of played it low. She did go into that scene where they were shopping for a little bit of clothes, and she shot down the woman. She's like, yeah, if you go like this, it comes up over your boobs. So like she shot that. She was trying to sell this Leah a shirt, and Leah was not interested. She pointed out the faults with it, and she claims that she is no bull, and I like it. Right away, I know that she's going to give me the truth. Or at least I hope so.
Agree to disagree, because right away she claims to not know anything about her father. Says as far as she's concerned, her dad was a semi-truck driver. Now, but you're on a show called Mob Wives, so you know. And what did she say? That her grandmother would tell her that, you know, daddy was in college, and she said in Chicago, they don't say prison, they say college. So come on, you know something.
Yes.
You know something.
She's in that circle. She grew up in that neighborhood.
Right. And she knows to keep your mouth shut. And she says, keep your mouth shut. That's what Chicago's all about. And what I liked about her most was how she likes her men fat. It's like, I like him fat. I do. I'm a chubby chaser.
She's so honest. I like her. I'm all about her. I want to see some more of that hair, those teeth. That's crazy, but good for her. She's
like
doing
side
it.
gap tooth.
yeah. I noticed that the whole time.
It's very Shannon Doherty. I appreciated that. Yeah. So do we have favorites yet?
Well, I know who I don't like, but no. Right now, my favorite I would say is Leah for me. Nora, I'll love Nora as she gets crazier and crazier. I just need to see more of her. But yeah, right now, Leah, my eyes are on her. I'm just curious to see how crazy she can get with being so tough. And I love all the Italian she drops in every once in a while. That's like my grandmother. We do that. I won't say it on this because I don't know what they all directly translate to, and I want to get anyone here in trouble. And also, I'll probably mispronounce them. It'll be a joke. So, but I drop things in all the time. I have a list.
What do you think about her earrings?
They're long. They're Nene Leakes style long.
Yes.
But she looks good. Sure, she looks good. She works that hairdo, so that's
Yes,
a lot. That's a lot to take care of.
Yes, she does.
Your favorite? What do you think?
Well, before we talk about my favorite, I think if you wanted to get some Nene Leakes style earrings, you might find them on Amazon.com.
Yes.
Which you can now get to through AfterBuzz TV, which is amazing.
Yes.
If you just click on if you go to AfterBuzz TV, which I know you're already on because you're listening to us now, you can click in the upper right-hand corner to Amazon.com, do all of your online shopping.
I did this. It's very easy.
So easy.
And it doesn't cost you any extra money. It just gives AfterBuzz a little kickback, which is really nice.
No special codes to type in or anything.
No.
It's so easy. It's just click, click, click instead of click.
Yep.
So there you go. So my favorite, I would say, I'm on board with Leah as well. She's a lot of fun, but I'm also very interested in Nora's story.
Yeah.
To have this reputation, her father has this reputation for killing. If you go on Wikipedia, there's just like this laundry list of people that this man has allegedly killed.
Just names?
Just names, just so many names. And I wish I'd brought it with me. I should have. But including Marilyn Monroe, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
allegedly, yes.
Allegedly Marilyn Monroe.
Wow.
Which means some alleged Kennedy ties. And that's a lot to.
These Kennedy ties. It's
It's
just too much. Yeah, please, no.
Please. So I'm very interested in Nora's storyline. Renee drives me a little crazy.
Yes. So we're getting into our least favorites, right?
Yes. Now
All right.
I'm doing opposite of favorite.
Yes. Kick it off. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think she. Well, we talked about this as we were watching, that she seems to really just love the camera. And like starting with that fight that she had with her daughter in the apartment. I find it hard to believe that she is that actively angry at her ex-husband 13 years later, that she would just be like, what do you mean you went to go see him in prison? He's a terrible person. He hasn't been, it's like, come on.
She casually walked in with her box of cigarettes. I was like, Mom, I saw Dad today. And I was like, all right, you can put the cue cards down now, guys.
There seems to be a lot of setup
Yes.
in this show.
Yes, that I want to mention that later towards the end of the episode. I have an observation. Yes.
We can get to that then.
But yeah, no, go ahead. Are you done with your least favorite?
Yeah, please go ahead.
All right. Well, my least favorite right now, and I know it's early to judge, but based on this episode, it is Renee. I feel like she took a wrong turn when she was trying to get on the Real Housewives of Orange County, and she ended up in Chicago.
Yes.
I can't fault her. She's not an unattractive woman. She is pretty, but she's just, I don't know. I think they're going to eat her alive on that show. I have a note here. From the very beginning, I said, take it down a notch. It seems to me like she is like, there's like the camera and she's got these cards and she's just reading and being very tough and I'm going to do this. And she just seemed like, I don't know. I'm sure she'll come into her own. I hope so. I would like to see the real her.
I don't know that she knows who the real her is. But because, I mean, Gianna, her 20-year-old daughter, seems to be that way as well. Because, she had the same sort of like blowing up, like I know how it is, Mom. You don't know how it is, Mom. You know, just ridiculous, over the top responses to, you know.
I will say this, though. I have a respect for her for not wanting to get involved. Of course, he's in prison, so she can't get involved with him anyway. But Gianna's father, who went away into prison, college, and
allegedly.
And so I have a respect for her because in the other mob wives, they were so loyal to their men. The original one in Staten Island, they were so religiously loyal to these men, even though they would cheat on them and go away for 10+ years. At least she is saying, no, he's a loser, I'm done, and she's like wiping her hands from him totally. So I do respect that.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I think
that's her only redeeming quality.
Yeah, no, really.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we should get into some of these relationships between the women. So let's see. I feel like Nora, like, even though she's been gone she's been living in Florida for the past 10 years, I feel like she's really like a tie that binds throughout all of these women. So let's start. She and Pia have been friends for 15 years. Over 15 years.
That name still gets me. Go ahead.
No, do you have anything to say about that?
Not really on that same note. I mean, they were friends, and then she's throwing words around.
Right. Do you believe that Nora called her a whore or whatever, like, to her cousin Anthony?
I do, because she sat there, and what she should have done if she was smart, when they said, oh yeah, I heard you called me an effing whore, she should have said, oh yeah, I was wondering where you were. Like, you know, when people come, they're like, where's that bitch, you know, like,
right.
Where is that, you know? And so, like, she could have spun it into that, but no, she goes, well, I speak the truth when I drank alcohol. So, like, that did not help things.
No. And she's
not
like,
at all.
Let me hear it on tape recorder. Like, not everything's a court trial, you know?
I know.
But yeah, that's totally true. Some of my best friends, I'm just like, hey, slut. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know, that's...
She could have just spun it like that, but no. And this goes to my point that I wanted to make when it comes to this dinner, or this drinks that they had, these drinks at night, I guess, over the skyline.
Night drinks.
To me, it was like they had a production assistant lifting note cards for these women, like, say the word hooker, and then they worked it into the conversation. Now say the word hitman, and so then they threw that at Nora, and it just got to be too much. But I don't feel like that fight was orchestrated. I felt like it was probably pretty genuine.
The physical fight.
Yes, between Christina and Pia.
Okay, well, that's because Christina... Well, you might have your own opinion about this, but I feel like Christina had just been drinking way too much. First of all, Christina's in a sad place in her life. She's divorced, but living with this guy. She has all this shame, and I assume it's shame because she said, like, you know, people don't get divorced in my family, and you don't tell anybody. So she's, like, just living this lie. Yeah. She's living a very false life. And so now she's going out. She's just getting hammered. She's, like, shot on top of drinks. And... You know, I've been guilty of this. It's why I no longer drink. Just insinuating myself into situations where just have nothing to do with me, like, or, you know, just blowing things out of proportion where, yeah.
Her defense for getting involved was that Pia told her, and she was in the room when they were discussing it, like that right then and there.
Right.
I don't know if that's enough to get involved, especially when two people agree that they're done with something and they're washing their hands of it. I don't know. It was just... I hope it wasn't for cameras. I hope it really was a flaw of hers. I really want to see these women for who they are. And I'm afraid that with the success of Mob Wives, the original, and then now with these women, especially first episode, first night out, they feel like they have to amp it up. I don't want to see, like, who does? I mean, I don't want to be fooled. I mean, I know that it's not all real, but...
I also don't understand. I mean, are they taping this in real time? Like... You know,
well,
editing.
They had a calendar open when Gianna was fighting with her mother in the kitchen. It said January, so this is a couple months old. I do like to keep track of when this is, yeah, because I know, like, the Real Housewives in New Jersey. Not to get off topic, but that's a year old. That was last summer, so it's hard for me.
Right.
But I mean, January. Okay, I'll believe it.
So we kind of like jumped around there, but I also believe that Nora said that thing about Pia because she just made that comment like, "Oh yeah, I wore my hooker shoes. I'm gonna be like Pia tonight." You know, like that's mean.
Such a low blow. I thought it was a joke. I was waiting for her to go, ah.
Yeah.
No. Those eyes just came out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, no, she really should have just laughed that off. But no, I guess she's not a joking type. I guess don't make a joke with Nora. Whew.
Is that what rule number? Because rule number 1 with Nora is you do not ask if her father's a hitman. Do not bring that up. That's rule number 1 through 4.
Well, what else is this chick up to? She's not married, or is she? Does she have
Pia?
any kids? No, I'm talking about Nora.
I don't know.
Because she seems like an older woman, so I feel like she would have a little bit more to her. We saw that Leah does live with her dad, and we know her situation, how she's hunting for these large men. So
I love her.
So I'm curious about Nora. I want to know. But I guess she's just going to be chasing after her father's body for most of the season.
Yeah, it seems like she's been pretty much in hiding. She hasn't been technically or officially in a witness protection program, but she sort of just took herself out of the scene, moved to Florida. And right, she said she's been dating, but every time she dates, the relationship kind of goes south once they find out who her father is.
That's true, yes.
So she seems to not have a family.
Now, her father has been deceased for a while. Why do you think that
2008.
Okay. Why do you think these men still run from her?
It's probably, and this is, pure speculation, but hey, that's what we do here at AfterBuzz, that she is so obsessed with it still, and so,
That's true.
There comes a time when it's like, look, you just have to let it go. Like, whether or not...
Maybe she just can't move on.
Right, but because I don't have a date here for when he was actually in jail, but at some time he's been out of your life much longer than 2008. He's been in prison for however long, and then is allegedly deceased. Whether or not you've seen his body, it's like,
I mean, I wouldn't be running towards this chick either. She's got a list, like you said, a laundry list of dead bodies.
Right, and and she seems like she's on the verge of a nervous breakdown all the time. So
Yes.
I think it has less to do with her father and more to do with her.
Ticking
in my opinion.
time bomb.
Ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
And what else do I have on Pia? Or I'm sorry, on Nora. I think that might be it.
Well, now we're going to ask you guys to go to iTunes, and while you go and you download our podcasts and all that great stuff, we ask that you please rate and comment. It's a great help to us. I know I definitely do look at the comments, good and bad. Send them our way. We do want to see what you have to say. Of course, rating is great, but comments are even better. And tell a friend. I know I told my friend who rides the Metrolink, people who have time on their hands, I know there's so much traffic and driving, and that the summer, go to the beach, listen to one of our podcasts. It's a great thing.
And all that does is it gives us a little bit more visibility on iTunes, which means that we can keep bringing you after shows for free. So there you go. And you like free stuff, right? And
Exactly.
who doesn't? Great. So you wanted to talk a little bit about...
Yeah, I want to go transition into a little bit of the Mob Wives Staten Island original versus this Mob Wives Chicago, just a little bit of the balance. I noticed a few things here and there because they are Italian women. They're not too far from each other. They're, up there.
There are connections all over the place.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the women are actually, one of the women, at least that I know of, Renee Graziano, actually knows a lot of these women, all of them, she said in an interview. So that was interesting that even though they're a little far apart, they're all still connected in that lifestyle. I just want to point out that woman, Nora, who's on this quest to find her father's body. She reminds me a little bit of Karen Gravano and more in her storyline. Because Karen, when she came on to Mob Wives, she was there to move back just like Nora did. She moved back to Staten Island and she wanted to write a book and she wanted to kind of right the wrongs like of her past a little bit and see like what was happening with when she left. So Nora's now coming back and she's on the hunt for her dad. She kind of wants to like wrap that out. I feel like she could follow in Karen's footsteps and write a good book. And I think that probably would be a good idea for her, given her age. I don't know more about her, but...
First, she would have to stop being in denial about who her father is. Now, okay, allegedly.
That's true.
Allegedly. But even if her father wasn't a hitman, she would still have to speak about her experience as being the daughter of a hitman. Because whether or not he was, she's still grown up the daughter as a hitman.
Yeah.
You know, so she would have to stop, get her angry pants off and
Yeah.
and get her honest pants on and write that. So
Yeah. And another thing with all of these women versus the two cities is that they both really look at all of these people as that have been in prison as they're not criminals to them. They are just people who were put away, and the police were the bad people that kind of put them there. They all kind of really idolize these people that were terrible. Not all right. Well, they weren't good people, but I mean, there's a laundry list of dead bodies with one of them. Come on.
Right.
So, but they really do put these people up, and they make it seem like by them going away, it was an injustice to them by having them go.
right.
And it really isn't. I mean, it's the law. Yeah.
Well, you're talking about these comparisons. I know more about the Chicago cops, and I mean they're just as bad. Like they are so intertwined with the mob. It's like they're the same. It's one and the same. What is it like in New York? Is that?
Well, I'm from Rhode Island, so.
But you did
it's all
watch the
one
Mob
of-
Wives.
Oh, okay. All right. You're talking about Mob Wives. Yes. What's it like over there in regards to how they're intertwined?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I didn't see anything about cops when I watched that. I didn't see anything about the police. If anything, they were the police were the villains of the story.
So they're like definitely the bad guys,
Yeah.
and yeah. I think in Chicago it's more difficult to blame the police because they're just so involved
Notoriously,
in it too.
yes. And with another thing with this is so everyone goes to jail, like that comment that
Yeah, everybody I know has been in jail.
Everybody is, yeah.
You serve your time, it's not a big deal.
Same thing with Mob Wives. That pointed that out to it. That kind of popped out of my head a little bit because it was like most of those people all did time, and it was just like a part of someone's life. It wasn't really
Rite of
like
passage,
Yeah, it wasn't
whatever.
like he did jail time. Like
Right.
it wasn't. It was celebrated mainly. And then between the two, both of these shows, like Mob Wives Staten Island, really has a lot to do with family. Where this show, a lot of it has to do with the dads.
Yeah.
It's all back to these girls' childhoods. They all had pictures of them and their dad and them like growing up. It's very much how they were raised.
Yes, and they also seem to carry their father's legacies with them. Renee doesn't even want to associate with Pia because, she's the father or the daughter of a rat, so she assumes that Pia is also a rat. So it's interesting.
Now, is this chick Renee? Is she Italian or German? She's the Italian one. Yeah, she's the Italian one. Never mind. Okay.
Nora might be German. Her father's the German.
Because I'm just wondering why Renee would hold that against her. I know like if she was Italian, it could come back to loyalty. Just like you just don't do that. But she, out of the gate, she counted Pia out. She claimed she didn't even really know her that well. She was calling her all types of names. She's classless. And then like they met over a drink. I mean, it was just like they don't even know one another.
I love how she goes, I'm not judging, but what Pia does is an embarrassment.
Yeah. Not judging at all, Renee.
Right.
Good for you.
To herself, to her family, like.
Yeah. And then there's a preview with Renee telling Pia how much better she is than her. And like, you just don't say that. That's such an
Right.
argumentative line. It could go either way on that. It's opinion based.
Yeah, it's true. And, people who are better than others, like, and it's visible, they don't feel the need to say, like, I'm above you.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's hilarious. Queen of England's not telling people that.
No.
That's like the only example of class I could think of.
Yeah.
The Queen of England, she, yeah.
Well, that about wraps it up between the two Mob Wives cities for me. I just thought it was interesting to see the differences and the similarities between the two because they are closely connected. And now that Mob Wives recently ended, it's all fresh in our minds. And now we've got these new women out of the gate.
That's great. Well, I'm very excited. I think we're going to take a quick commercial, and when we come back, talk some news and gossip and predictions.
Hey guys, so what do you get when 3 real single ladies are super fans of VH1 Single Ladies? Well, you get the after show on AFTERBUZZ TV. I'm Lauren Turner.
I'm Spicy Mighty, bringing back fire.
And I'm Fallon Mercedes. And we're single ladies, so make sure you watch us on AFTERBUZZ TV. All my single ladies, all my single ladies, all my single ladies.
Hey guys, it's JC, host of The Bachelorette here on AfterBuzz TV.
Hey, I'm Crystal. I've been on Bachelor and Bachelor Pad for the inside scoop. You want to check us out?
And if you're looking for an opinion, I've got one. I'm Canton Bliss.
And I'm your relationship expert, Jenna Couture. I'm Kathy Kelly, and I bring you all your Bachelor and Bachelorette news.
All this at 10 p.m. Pacific on AfterBuzz TV.
Hey guys, this is the AfterBuzz TV crew for The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Woo! Don't forget to tune in every Monday night at 8 p.m. to see
Adrienne Barrow,
Deanna Vaughn,
Susan Hahn, Giselle Ugardi.
Buzz you later!
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Welcome back. We are here buzzing away about Mob Wives Chicago. And I think we're just going to get straight into some news and
let's
gossip.
hit the news and gossip. All right.
Okay.
So the Hollywood Reporter is reporting this little story here. Jennifer Graziano sat down with them for a brief interview to discuss her upcoming project, Mob Wives Chicago. Jennifer says that Chicago was the natural choice as the second in Mob Wives franchise because it's where some of the biggest names were based out of back in the day. She says, when you think of the mob, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is John Gotti and Al Capone. Those are the two major cities. Obviously, New York was first because I had the cast I already knew. And I just wanted to go to a next city that I could have a big mob backdrop with. The history that's somewhat still alive. So it is interesting. The history is still a little bit alive there, I'd say.
So, again, Jennifer Graziano is somebody's daughter, or?
Oh, she's sisters with Renee Graziano, starring on Mob Wives, the original. And this is kind of her big first, or Mob Wives was her first big venture in reality television, producing it herself, Just Jen Productions. And so they're in with Electus and the Weinstein Company. And so this is kind of like her baby. And so I'm glad to see that it's growing.
Yeah, good for her.
So she's into Chicago, and I believe that there's still, it's still alive there.
Oh, it is.
Where it did kind of seem like, well, no, I can't go there. I was going to say it seemed like in New York it was kind of dying down, but then there was a big scandal last season, so it wasn't really dying down. But it's still a lot of people's past, regardless. All right, so the Chicago Sun-Times sat down with Renee Graziano's sister, Jennifer Graziano, just to continue. This was along the same lines, different interview. Graziano gave an over-the-phone interview with Chicago Times, explaining the difference between the Staten Island storylines versus Chicago. She says, with New York, a lot of mob entanglements are kind of current. Well, that's what I was saying. A lot of Chicago is based on the sins of the father, so to speak, and their fathers are no longer in the picture. They have some deep-rooted effects there and some really, really good stories.
It's interesting.
So it sounds like there's going to be some really good stories. There wasn't a lot in news and gossip. It was all just promoting the new season and the time slot on VH1. No one's really sat down with any of these women yet. I'm very curious.
And I have to tell you, I've been on Twitter, and even these women, like, as interesting as they are on the show, are kind of boring on their Twitters. Like, they're just, like, have been hashtagging Mob Wives, and what did everybody think of VH1's Mob Wives? And so come on, pick it up, ladies.
There was no press tour for this. I'm shocked. There's no Wendy Williams sit down, the least, like.
Come on.
Yeah, I expected, like, when I sat down to news and gossip, I had very limited time, but I was like, oh, well, this is going to be forever. Easy. I thought it was going to take me forever because I thought it was going to be a lot of stuff, but easy to access.
Easy to access, yeah. Like,
I had to do some digging, and that's basically all I got.
I was able to get background, but maybe that's because there's not a lot going on, like this article is saying. So, slim pickings out there. So, ladies, come on, pick it up on your Twitter spheres and stuff.
Exactly.
Anyway, predictions?
Yes. So let's go. Let's get right into it.
I guess we'll just get right.
Sure.
Okay, there we go.
All right.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Would you like to kick us off?
Yes. So, Christina and Pia had this hair-grabbing fight, and now I assume that over the next episode or two, all these women will have to have coffee or tea or dinner to sit down and talk about it. But it was big. I just hope that this doesn't set the tone for the rest of the season. I don't want to hear about this one fight for the rest of the season. It looks like there will be more coming. I just hope that it will move along. I think it will. Mob Wives moves a lot faster than other reality shows. So I think we're in for a really full 10-episode season. It's only 10. So it's going to go by fast.
It's exciting. I'm excited. Well, I predict actually that Pia will end up getting a new career. I feel like it's been such a story point already that in episode 1 that there's just like no way that and I am real excited to see all the tubby gentlemen that I can't remember. Leah, thank you.
Well, we'll see when it comes to Nora if she really can track down her father's body. I'm curious because I'm wondering if the show would help or hinder her since she is now going to be on a reality star. No doubt she is a big character, so she's definitely going to be coming up the rings.
I can't wait for her breakdown, which I predict undoubtedly it has to be next episode, right? Like she's already so close.
Well, there was a shot of her in the season preview, just tears falling to the floor, like on the phone, like where's my dad?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Who do you call in that case when the government has your father's body? Who do you call?
I guess, I mean, somebody in the mob. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the thing that it's true. They're like you get a lot of roadblocks, you know, and
I don't know. I don't think it's possible for her to really find that out. I think the TV show is going to get in the way of things for her. I really do. She probably thinks differently. She probably thinks they'll shine a light on it, which I don't think I don't think they're going to do it. It's the government. They're not going to care about Nora on Mob Wives VH1 Sundays. So.
Right, yeah.
But I do.
Here on AfterBuzz TV.
But we do.
We do. We love it. So, all right. Well, I think that about wraps it up for predictions.
Yes.
You can join us here every Sunday.
Please do.
6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
And now where can I find you on Twitter?
Well, I'm Anna Koppel, and you can follow me at Koppel for Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR. Where can we find you?
All right. I am on Twitter at Grant Michael R, and I tweet about a lot of TV, so check me out.
Do follow us. And we will see you here next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.